Oh. So I got here today on memory lane is F150. It's a 2020. We're going to change the oil in it. It's due, so we're going to change the oil in it. First of all, I unlatched the hood from the inside of the truck. Raise the hood up. I want to pull the dipstick out and the fill tube, trying to get oil all over the truck. That lets the air get in the engine, lets it drain better. Another thing is on the oil cup, it tells you what weight it is. So mine's 530, 5 weight 30. And I'm going to use Motorcraft oil because it is a Ford. Go ahead and wipe my dipstick off. I'm going to sit it down where I don't get oil all over the truck and make a mess. So that's why I'm wiping some of this off. We don't want to shut the hood with this on there and end up breaking your cap or damaging anything. But right now I'm going to sit it right here. It's been wiped off, out of the way. This lets air get in there so it drains better. So now that's done, we're going to get the filter ready to go so we can get it, we're going to be a little dirty, so we're going to get it all ready to go. So then when we need it, we're going to be able to put it on. So I'll open the caps on the oil and that sort of thing, and I'll show you what we're working on. It's a 500S, right? Yeah. Ready? Okay. So this is a Ford Motorcraft 500S oil filter. That's what it requires. You can use oil. I like to use something a little bit more heavier. Well, just a slight bit of grease on your little ring. That lubricates that ring a little bit. A lot of people use oil. I just like to put a slight bit of grease on it. I think it might stay on a little better. Those engines get hot, oil just kind of separates away from it. I think grease might hold up a little better. That's what I've always done anyway. So that's done, and it'll be ready to go on when we take the other one off. This is on these trucks. They got a fiber protecting cover underneath of it that hides everything. So, of course, over time they can kind of get loose or whatever. But it takes an 8mm socket. So I got my DeWalt drill, makes it easier. There's four little 8mm bolts that hold up with a washer on it, holds up that fiber covering, and it protects from dirt and grime that can get splashed up underneath there. Over time it could fall, get loose, break, whatever, but you can buy new ones. Mine's still in pretty good shape. I had to wire it up a little bit on one side of it where the bolt kind of pulled through, but it's still pretty good shape, so we're still using it. So it's an 8mm socket. I got my DeWalt drill. It makes it real easy to pull them off. I'm going to tell you something. Changing oil on these are quite different. I wouldn't say different, but they can make a little bit of a mess. They're not real easy to get to some of this stuff, but that's because everything's the way it is. All right. So it requires 530. I'm using Motorcraft oil 530. That's because I'm running a Ford, and Ford recommends using Ford. So that's what we're doing, and we're going to go ahead and change the oil. It's a good product. I like the Motorcraft oil, and I like the Ford, so it's been a good truck. We're going to go ahead and change the oil on it. So okay, so I'm under the truck. I don't have the truck up in the air. I'm just working off the ground. Those are the bolts right there. There's one of them. There's where I kind of wired it up to kind of help support it. Normally that wire isn't there, so that's kind of you know, whatever you got to do. So 8mm. That one's off. Well, I'm going to leave the wire on here. It's off on that side, and then that's where that bolt went through. See how these kind of get tore up. There ought to be a better way of fastening that stuff on there, but there's another one up here towards the front. And I got a wire up there as well. I guess a bit more on here than that. Well, this might be the one that actually went through. Because there's nothing holding that. Right there. Actually, the bolt is up front more. So, let me get, let me hear more. That's the other one. I thought it was there. It just wasn't what I thought it was. So that's 2 on each side. So there'll be 4 total. And then of course my little wire up job that I did. But that cover protects us all this stuff from mud and grind on the truck. Because I guess I think we go through a lot of mud and stuff, which there's a lot of road and grime and snow and stuff on the winter roads, especially here in the Midwest. So it helps. Now we're going to do the other side. So this is the fiber cover. There was 2 bolts in the front, closer together. And then 2 bolts in the back. They're farther apart. They're actually on the way all the way over to the end of the cover. This one actually torn off. So that's why I got my trusty little wire there. Yay. Okay. We got it off. Now we're going to start loosening the drain plug and draining the oil. So this is the oil plug. We got it in a pretty difficult spot to be able to drain this oil. In fact, when you drain it, it wants to shoot it over to the passenger's front tire. And we kind of made a little bit of a catch-all to try to catch it. As a little piece of plastic. And that kind of helps stop it. Reflects off of it and drains down into the pan. It's kind of a messed up deal. Really surprised in how this was kind of designed, but maybe that's all they could come up with this engine. Otherwise, I really like the truck, and the engine seems to be a pretty sweet engine. And there's a reflector thing that we kind of come up with. Otherwise, it does shoot it over to that passenger side front tire, and it makes a mess. Which is another reason why I'm doing this outside, because I would have oil in the garage floor, and it's just easier to do it outside. If we could get this completely up off the ground, it might make it easier and work, underneath of it, but as of now, I'm not able to do that. Anyway, the oil's draining, and it'll drain here for a few minutes. I want to state that once you get the oil started draining, you don't need to hold that reflector thing up that I made. It comes straight down into the pan now. I just need to do that when I first take the plug out. So where this is shiny, that's where the oil spilt down on this tubular. I'll wipe it off so we don't have it dripping in the garage or anything. Kind of cleans it up, and right behind there is where the hole is. So, for the drain plug. So I'm gonna wipe it around that off so I don't get any dirt or anything in there. Wipe my plug off. Up over that bar. I'm gonna move this pan out of my way now that I got the plug partly started in there. And there, see, that's the plug right there. And so it's on the side of that case, oil reservoir case. It's a 15-inch millimeter wrench. We don't want to super tighten them, but we want to get them tight. Snug, so we don't want to strip it out. All this stuff's aluminum. So, looks good. I'm happy with that. That's it right there. All right, so we're done draining it. Now we're going to do the filter. We got all the oil pretty much caught into the pan. That usually never happens, so not with this truck, but it worked this time. So we're going to remove the filter next. It's way up in there. It's not that, it looks harder than what it is, but it is not easy to get to. You don't have a lot of leverage for your filter wrench, just because you got too much stuff in the way. But you can turn it just a little bit at a time, and you get it loosened up, and then take it off by your hand. I think when Ford designed this, they designed this where their garages are going to be changing these oils, and I'm a little stubborn and like to do my own. And for those of you who like to do your own oil jobs, oil changes, that's cool, A lot of people just have them done anymore. And I think I like to, play around with the vehicles and in the garage a lot. So I do my own, and they don't make it very easy on this one. So Of course, it's off. We'll wipe, when it's done kind of draining there, we'll wipe off where the filter goes. And I'll put the new oil filter on.
You have a rag?
And we're spinning the filter on. Normally you just want to hand tighten these. Being you can't really get your hands on it really well to get any strength on, you may have to use a little wrench on it and try to snug it just a tiny bit, but I think we got it. Like I said, it's not horrible to get to. You just don't have a lot of room for a wrench in there to try to get it loose. We got it. So again, I'm using Ford Motorcraft oil. It's 530. I mentioned that before. This engine takes 6 quarts, so this is a 5-quart container. So that's why I have two containers. I'm gonna get another quart out of the other one. This is the 3.5 engine. Ford's Ford introduced the 3.5 several years ago to replace the V8 engine, replace the 5.4 engine, and they still make the 302. Pour these from the side. It helps prevent from gurgling and splashing. And then you get them empty, and then you can kind of, any pockets the jug might have, you can get some oil out of it by just turning your jug around. There, see, it was dripping, now it's kind of running out of there, so. You got a little pocket in there where the handle's at. Trap some oil in there you don't know about. So that's 5 quarts. I used this oil before in another oil change, so this jug's still new oil, but we already pulled a quart out of it, so that's what we're going to do, is pour another quart out of it, because it takes 6 quarts and we used 5, so this will be the 6th quart out of this jug here. And not even close. About halfway. Nice it level. Yep, I think we're good. So I'll put the lid on it. I'm gonna check the oil after we're done. I'm gonna let that funnel continue to drip a little bit while I'm wiping down tools, and then pick up my stuff, put the caps, everything back on, start the engine, get the oil pumping through the engine, through the top of the heads, and I'll shut it off. I won't run it very long. I'll start it again. I'll check to make sure there's no leaks underneath the bottom of the motor. And if I don't have any leaks, which we shouldn't have, I never had any with this, with any of them really, then I'll check the oil, let it cool down a little bit, let the oil finish running back down through the block. I'll check it again, and if it's good, we're good to go. So I shouldn't have to add any more. Everything's buttoned up. I got the dipstick there, the oil fill cap on. It's where I can read it, 530 on it, directed in my direction, not backwards. So that's kind of a pet peeve of mine. Everything should be readable, not backwards. So it looks right. I'm gonna start the engine. So I started the engine. It's telling me the hood's open. I know that. We'll have to reset. There's a gauge in here. The computer dash, whatever, it tells me when the oil is due. I change mine every 4,000 miles, so it doesn't recognize as that. So I have to go in there and reprogram it and set it myself when I change it. You have to do that anyway. But I change mine every 4,000 miles. I think Ford recommends like 7,000, maybe a little bit more than that. But I don't let mine go that long. An oil change lasts me for a little, about probably 4 to 5 months, probably 5 months. So I'm gonna go down here and look for any leaks. So now with the oil off, I'm checking the dipstick. Looks good. I wiped it off, stuck it in there again, and pulled it out. It looked good, so I'm sticking it back in there. And we're good to go. We just have to put that cover back on and button up those 4 bolts up and reset my oil gauge thing on the dash. I don't really know how to explain it, but other than that, I might show you on a video on that, on how to reset that. But it's going to take me a minute to do it because I don't do it very often. So next step is put this back on. Finish cleaning up our oil mess. Where those, the old jugs, the old oil goes back into the jugs that I pulled the oil out of, and then I'll take them down to like the auto parts store, and they get rid of the oil for me. So that's really nice of them to do that. Of course, you know, when you buy from them, that's kind of an incentive for them to do that. And so my used oil will be put back in the jug we pulled out of, and taken down there later on a later date and getting rid of. And so I got my fiber board put underneath there. Those are the bolts again. There's 4 total, and then I wired it up a little bit better because that one's pulled through. Yeah, I would have thought maybe they could have done better with those, made them fiberglass or something else, you know. I don't know. But, you know, it's there, and it's put back, and good for another 4,000 miles. So we'll reset our dash here in a minute, and maybe can go through that with you on the video. We got the tools put away. Now we're going to clean up our mess, and then we'll clean up a little bit and work the gauges, or work the dash, so we can get the mileage reset on that for the next oil change. So I cleaned everything up, got my filter, my funnel cleaned up, got my funnel cleaned up, my pan cleaned up. That's my homemade little tool that I use on this truck. It's something off of an old jug. It just helps reflect the oil. And I got all my tools, so they're ready to go for the next oil change or whatever I'm doing. They're ready to go. So that's important. That way I don't have to mess with cruddy junk stuff, and it's cleaned up, taken care of, and ready for the use the next time. So that's important to me. And we're going to reset this gauge over here on the truck. Shadow's got his antler. We had to get a picture of you getting your antler. He's been carrying around that in the yard and he's been chewing on it now for, I don't know, about a month or so. So maybe longer than that, probably probably since March. So
I'm gonna get it. Good boy.
all right, we're going to reset the oil life expectancy reset. We got 55,000 miles on this truck. I turned the key on. Okay, so on the steering wheel, I'm going to take the arrow over to it says, it gives me a display there of that menu display right there. I'm going to go down to settings and I'm going to hit OK.
No. The over key.
Oh. I'm going to hit the over key. Yep. And in advanced settings, I'm going to hit OK by hitting the over key. And then it says a vehicle. So I'm going to hit the over key again. Life oil life reset. I'm going to hit OK again. These are my arrows. And I'm going to hold the button in until it resets. So I'm hitting the OK button. It says I got 25% life expectancy on this oil. And it says OK to reset. So I'm hitting OK. I'm holding it. It's resetted 100%. So we're ready to go until the next oil change, which will be 4,000 miles. And again, it'll show a life expectancy still on the truck because I'm changing it before the due date is actually required for this truck. But I like to change it a little bit sooner than being late on it. So at 25%, that's not too bad. I'm happy with that. And that's how you reset the oil. So you use this keypad on the steering wheel for your OK and arrows, and it just does what it tells you to do. So we are reset. And we're ready to go. So we're going to do this one more time to reset the life expectancy on the truck. So I'm showing the miles per hour. I'm going to hit the arrow button over. That shows the display mode. I'm going to go down to settings with my arrows. Right there. It's showing me an arrow to the right. So I'm going to take my arrow to the right. It's showing advanced settings. It's already highlighted there. The arrow to the right. I'm going to hit the arrow to the right on the steering wheel. It shows vehicle. I'm going to hit the arrow to the right again on the steering wheel. Oil life reset. I'm going to hit the arrow to the right again on the steering wheel. It shows the percent oil life, which is 100%. To reset it, I'm going to hit the OK button, and I'm going to hold that. Hold OK to reset. So to reset this one, if I want to reset it, which I don't want to do because I've already reset it, but when you go to reset it, you want to hit the OK button and hold it there till it clears, and it should show 100%. Now I'm going to go back through my display mode by just hitting the arrow back over again and again. and it shows the display mode. I'm gonna go up to the top again to the display mode, and that goes back to your miles per hour, and that resets back to where you can drive mode and you know how fast you're going. So that includes our 2020 F150 oil change for this truck. It wasn't too bad. It took about an hour or so. But we got it changed and it's ready for another 4,000 miles, and should be problem free, no leaks. We're good to go. Thanks for watching. You can be sure to write some comments down there on below, or like this page, and be a subscriber if you like. Thank you very much for watching the video.